the topic of this video is going to be about the theory of evolution. Right, so the theory of evolution, right, it's kind of okay. What am I getting at? Like the theory, the topic of this video is about the theory of evolution. What am I getting at? Basically, the theory of evolution is sort of like it's like this type of idea, and like sort of, yeah, it's like this idea and understanding, right, that us human beings and like other animals and creatures and organisms, we sort of like we weren't just created and stuff and put on this planet and stuff. We were developing in in some type of way where our characteristics were changing and stuff like this, and we were like kind of all, where we all come from the same like lineage and stuff like that, but we were branching off in different ways and stuff, and our characteristics were mutating and changing and stuff like this, and we were undergoing a lot of different like changes in our features and characteristics and stuff, and etc. And we weren't just like created in like one moment. We were like developing over a long period of time, and our features were changing and mutating, and we were turning into different things and stuff like that until we reached the point where we are now and stuff. And this is kind of like the theory of evolution, right? That the human being isn't, we weren't just created, we were in like one moment. We weren't just created in like a moment. We were like developing from like a long series of different mutations and gradual processes and I guess obviously evolution and stuff like that. We were descending from the other apes, and then we were slowly changing and becoming our own thing and stuff like that, and the mutations were going on. The theory of evolution, I'm kind of butchering it right now, but you know like the human being, us human beings, and like other animals as well, and other creatures and organisms and blah blah blah, we weren't just like created in one moment and put here on Earth. We were like gradually developing from other species, basically, right? We were gradually developing from other species, organisms and creatures. We all go back to like primordial soup, and basically that's kind of like like there was like at the beginning of the Earth, there was like just primordial soup. What do I mean by that? It's like I guess a soup of like cells and stuff like that. And I don't know if you could consider like the like what was at the beginning, like in the ocean floor, that was like cells. I don't know. It was just all liquids and chemicals and stuff, and that started to turn into like weird creatures under the ocean. That turned into like weird fish creatures. And then those fish creatures, some of them started to like climb onto land, and then those things became like the predecessors to mammals and blah 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 and stuff like that, and reptiles and other creatures like that. And then these things started to turn into bigger things like dinosaurs, blah blah blah. And then some of these things like became apes, and then those apes, some of them turned into like weird like kind of like intermediaries between like cavemen and like the apes, like Homo erectus type things. And then these Homo erectus like things, they turned into like cavemen, and these cavemen became like us humans and modern man. I know I butchered this, but this is kind of like, the theory of evolution. Basically, the humans and other animals and creatures and organisms, we weren't just created in one moment and put on this planet Earth. We gradually developed from other species of things, and our lineage goes back to like primordial soup, and basically we came from lesser organisms and creatures, and we just gradually developed the way we did, and now we're here. We weren't just created like in one moment by a creator god. We were developing through the process of natural selection, which is also very important for the theory of evolution, this concept of natural selection. There's like basically imagine like a bunch of different creatures and stuff. Like the natural selection is basically like there's like some type of like these different types of creatures, like some of them are going to have like features and characteristics that are going to be more advantageous for their environments and stuff, and these creatures that have the more advantageous characteristics and features, they're going to survive and reproduce more, and their genetics are going to take over that location and territory and stuff like that, and they'll become like a new species inevitably and stuff. And this is sort of like what the theory of evolution is about. Natural selection is not, they're not interchangeable. Natural selection is kind of its own little type of thing. It's not directly linked to the theory of evolution. I mean, they complement each other. I don't know, maybe I'm just being dumb, maybe they are linked in so many different ways. But the theory of evolution is kind of, it's like, again, this type of understanding that the human being and other animals and creatures, we weren't just created in one moment and put on the planet Earth. We weren't just created like in one moment by a creator god and put on the planet Earth. We were like gradually developing from other lesser species and creatures and organisms and stuff, and our genetics our genetics and stuff like that were mutating and changing, and we were becoming more sophisticated. But and this didn't just happen in one moment. Like, we weren't just created in one moment by Creator God. We were just developing from other lesser creatures over a long period of time, and then we became what we are now and stuff. And this is like kind of the theory of evolution in a nutshell. Humans and other animals and creatures or organisms, we weren't just created in one moment by some Creator God. We were gradually developing from lesser creatures and lesser species of things and stuff like that over a long period of time until we got to where we are now. And this was all through like the process of natural selection. Basically, there's a bunch of different creatures, and whichever creature has like the more advantageous characteristics and features, it survives, and its genetics get to like spread out more and stuff like that, and it becomes a new species, and it takes over any territory it's in, and blah blah blah. That's, you know, natural selection in a nutshell, and theory of evolution in a nutshell. Okay, so why am I talking about the theory of evolution? Because first of all, you know, before Charles Darwin existed, because the theory of evolution, it kind of does go back to him and a couple other people as well, but mainly him. Before Charles Darwin existed and stuff, and before he kind of laid the groundwork for the theory of evolution and stuff, you know, before him and stuff, like creationism made a lot more sense, right? Because like, how did we develop as we did? Why isn't the human being just like crippled and like disabled or something? Why do we have like so many sophisticated biological features? Like, we can talk and communicate and use our hands to build things, and we have a brain and a nervous system, and we can think and conceptualize different things. Why do we have all of these different things, these different biological features and stuff? Why are we so like sort of advanced and stuff like that? Surely like we were created by some Creator God. We couldn't not just like come from like stardust, or we could have not just came out of primordial soup. We had to be engineered and built by some Creator God. Because why are we so advanced and stuff? This is because, you know, before Charles Darwin laid the groundwork for the theory of evolution, this is like the people, they were asking these types of questions and stuff. And the most common sense answer would be like, oh, we were just created by a Creator God. Because think about it, before the theory of evolution, how could you explain like why the human being is like so sophisticated and advanced in terms of like the mental faculties, and like, you know, in terms of a lot of our biological features, like our hands and stuff like that, and we can talk and communicate, and we have like a very advanced language. Why is the human being so like sophisticated and advanced? Why are we like not just like a bunch of like random atoms? Why aren't we just a bunch of random chemical soup? Why aren't we just like a bunch of cells on the floor and stuff like that? It's so weird to me. Why aren't we just like you know, why are we developed as we are? And, you know, before Charles Darwin laid the groundwork for the theory of evolution, it was assumed that it was just because we were created. That was like the most common sense answer to these types of questions. Oh, we're advanced and developed and we're sophisticated because we were created by a Creator God. That answers all these types of questions. A Creator God made us, and he put us into place and stuff. He designed us, and that's why we're so developed and sophisticated. It's because a Creator God made us. That was like, but think about it, before the theory of evolution existed, before Charles Darwin was born, like that was the only common sense like answer to these types of questions. How else would you like explain why we were so sophisticated and developed? You would have to like believe in like some type of Creator God that made us and stuff like that. That's like, that was the most common sense. That was like the most common sense like answer to these types of questions. Why is the human being so sophisticated and developed and stuff like that? It's because like a Creator God made us. That was like the most common sense like answer to these types of questions. You know, Charles Darwin, he laid the groundwork. He laid the groundwork for the theory of evolution and stuff like this. And with the theory of evolution, there's like an alternative to these types of answers, like that God just made us, like Charles Darwin and stuff like that. Obviously, I don't know if he was like he was strictly arguing for like the theory of evolution. I don't know if he was like fully on board with the theory of evolution, or if he just was entertaining it or something. I don't know. But he kind of laid the groundwork for the theory of evolution. Like before he was born, like the theory of evolution, like who like nobody really knew about this. Obviously, there were a couple other people that helped contribute to it, to the theory of evolution becoming what it is. Anyway, I don't want to like waste too much time on them, but you know, before Charles Darwin was born, blah blah blah. Again, the most common sense answer to like these types of questions, like why is the human being so sophisticated? Why are we so developed? Why are we the way we are and stuff like these types of questions? They were just answered like the common sense answer would be that we were just created by like a Creator God, and that was like the most, especially in the Middle Ages, that was like the most common sense answer to these types of questions until again Charles Darwin was born and the theory of evolution was kind of developed and stuff. And then when the moment that happened, right, this common sense answer that God just made us, it kind of started to like lose credibility and stuff. And now there was like this alternative explanation that, oh, oh, the reason we're developed and sophisticated and the way we are is because of the theory of evolution and natural selection, and the human being, the reason we're so advanced and developed is because we came from lesser creatures that were gradually like evolving and stuff, and that's why we're so developed and sophisticated now, because we come from a long line of lesser creatures and they were developing and natural selection was doing its magic and stuff, and these lesser creatures were forced to like undergo a lot of strict evolutionary pressures and stuff, and they were forced to adapt and become more developed and sophisticated until we reached the point where the human being is where he is today and stuff. And that's why we're so developed and advanced. It's because we come from lesser creatures, and the process of natural selection kind of did its magic. Natural selection did its magic, and these lesser creatures became more advanced and sophisticated, and now we have the modern human being. Like that, the theory of evolution, really, without the theory of evolution, like there's no way to explain why. There's like no other alternative explanation to this type of idea that a creator God just made us, and that's why we're sophisticated and developed. Yeah. That's what. I'll tell you about it a little bit later. It's cool. I'll tell you about it a little bit later. The theory of evolution. Before the theory of evolution was kind of the theory of evolution, and Charles Darwin was born and stuff like that. Before this, the most common sense answer to these types of questions, like why is the human being developed? Why are we so sophisticated? Why are we so advanced? Why aren't we just like primordial soup why aren't we just like a bunch of chemicals on the floor and stuff? Why do all our organs work in like the way they do? Why are we so like sophisticated and stuff? These types of questions, the most common sense answer to these types of questions was, oh, God made us before Charles Darwin was born and before the theory of evolution was born. The moment the theory of evolution and Charles Darwin was born, these types of questions could easily, there's like an alternative explanation now, because the human being, we're developed and sophisticated and advanced because we come from a series of lesser creatures, and these lesser creatures, because of the process of natural selection and stuff, because natural selection was a thing that was doing its magic, these lesser creatures were forced to undergo so many different changes, and they were forced to become more advanced and sophisticated, otherwise they would die off, and other creatures would replace them and stuff. And the natural selection and the theory of evolution, that's why the human being is so advanced and developed now. Damn, man, the wind is so annoying, man. If you live in England, that's something you have to deal with. The wind is so annoying and so difficult to deal with. The wind is so hard and annoying to deal with. The wind. But anyway, when Charles Darwin was born and the theory of evolution was born as well, obviously Charles Darwin wasn't the only guy that contributed to the theory of evolution. I know there could have been a couple other guys. But anyway, but now, before he was born and the theory of evolution was born, Charles Darwin, before he was born and before the theory of evolution was born, the most common sense answer to these types of questions, why is the human being so developed? Why are we so sophisticated? Why aren't we just like a bunch of chemicals on the floor? Why do all our organs and muscles work the way they do? These types of questions, it was obvious that a creator God made us and stuff and put us on this planet and stuff, and that's why we're here and stuff, and that's why we're so sophisticated and developed. Obviously, when Charles Darwin and when he was born, all of this kind of changed. Now there was this alternative explanation, right? The human being, the reason we're developed and so sophisticated and advanced is because we come from these lesser creatures, and the natural selection was doing its magic and stuff, and these lesser creatures were forced to undergo some type of changes, otherwise they would die off and other creatures would replace them, and that's why we're so sophisticated and developed now. It's because of the theory of evolution and natural selection, and we come from lesser creatures, and these lesser creatures were forced to undergo different changes in their features, in their biological features and stuff, and up until the point where we are now, the point that we reach now, where modern man has this big brain, and now we're so intelligent and smart and we're sophisticated, and we have and our organs work properly and stuff, blah blah blah. But this, we weren't just created and built. The theory of evolution, Charles Darwin and blah blah blah. Now we have this alternative explanation, because now we weren't just made and built and created in one moment and put on this earth. We were gradually developing from lesser creatures, and obviously, and the reason I'm kind of mumbling now, I am mumbling. What am I getting at? The theory of evolution, it kind of revolutionized everything. Charles Darwin, he revolutionized everything, man. Before, think about before Charles Darwin was born, and before the theory of evolution was a thing. The only explanation for the human being and for these other animals and creatures and for a lot of our world and stuff was that a creator God did everything and made us and made everything else. The theory of evolution, obviously, it kind of pushed this to the side and stuff like that, and now you have this new understanding, and it is very interesting. And it's not like I don't fully agree with the theory of evolution and stuff like that, and Charles Darwin's beliefs and hypotheses and stuff like that. This is, like, obviously I'm more agnostic. I'm not like a strict theist, and I'm not like a strict atheist. I'm more agnostic. But anyway, the theory of evolution, I agree with it to some extent, but now I'm going to like kind of discuss like some of the problems with the theory of evolution and stuff. Some of the problems with the theory of evolution, because the theory of evolution, it relies on a lot of different assumptions. First of all, that abiogenesis is possible, abiogenesis, because okay, we come from all these different lesser creatures, but at the beginning there had to be like one type of creature that comes before all the other ones. And, well, it wasn't even really a creature, it was like a bunch of cells and soup on the floor. Like how did life even come about and stuff? This is like impossible to answer this type of question. And a lot of people that believe in the theory of evolution, they believe in something called abiogenesis, that life can basically just emerge from dead inorganic material and gradually developing, become more sophisticated, right? This is like kind of a little bit nonsense to me. I don't know. Abiogenesis it's never been proven that life can literally emerge from dead inorganic material. Life can emerge from dead inorganic material and just become more sophisticated and developed. If you're like fully on board with the theory of evolution and stuff, and like a lot of Charles Darwin's hypotheses and blah blah blah, and other people that are into this and stuff, you're like a big time atheist. I don't know, as well, because a lot of atheists, they obviously they agree with the theory of evolution, because as an atheist you don't believe in God, so why are we so developed and sophisticated? Oh yeah, because of the theory of evolution and natural selection, and we were developing from lesser creatures, and then natural selection did this magic, and these lesser creatures developed and became more sophisticated, otherwise they would die off. But one of the biggest problems with the theory of evolution is that abiogenesis is like a lot. Obviously, the theory of evolution is I'm being kind of stupid, because evolution, like creatures and organisms adapt to their environment over time. That's 100% true. That's facts. That is facts, right? That creatures and organisms adapt to their environment over time. This is facts, right? You cannot argue with this. Even if you believe in it, even if you're like a strict theologian and you believe in like the Bible and the Quran and stuff like that, and you're a strict Christian, Muslim, or Jew, like why like we all come from Adam, right? If you believe in like if you're a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew, we all come from Adam. All of mankind comes from Adam. But why are there like different races of human beings? Why are there black people, white people? If we all go back to Adam and stuff, why are there different colors of people and stuff? And because the easiest way to answer this question would be because different groups of people were developing in different environments over a different period of time. That's basically evolution. Then there you go. Because I do believe in the theory of evolution, right? The theory of evolution is just that creatures, organisms adapt to their environment over time. Obviously, even if you're a Muslim and Christian, a Jew, Christian, Muslim, Jew, Muslim, Christian, you have to believe in the theory of evolution, because if we all come from Adam, why are there different colors of people and different races? Why do we all look different from each other and stuff? It's, the theory of evolution explains why, because these different races were in different environments and they changed and stuff like that, blah blah blah. That's at least my little thing. That's because like it's not like it's not like it's you have to believe in one thing or the other. The theory of evolution, it can go well with the Abrahamic faiths. I don't know, because we all go back to Adam, but why are there different races of man and stuff like that? It's kind of stupid, unless the theory of evolution is a thing and these different races were developing in different environments, and that's why we are the way we are. But I wanted to like really the theory of evolution. It kind of because it's kind of stupid. I'm being kind of stupid. It's kind of making things too convoluted. The theory of evolution, because it can mean a lot of different things. But typically, I'm talking about like the more Darwinian view on the theory of evolution, that we all come from like primordial soup and there is no creator God. The more atheistic approach to the theory of evolution. I know that's kind of stupid, because atheistic, like theory of evolution, these things aren't as directly related. The theory of evolution is one thing, atheism is a different thing. And then the topic of this video is so complex. That's why I'm having problems articulating myself now. But the theory of evolution, it is it is reasonable. It's facts, man. Creatures and organisms adapt to their environment over time. Even if you believe in a creator God, even if you're a strict Christian, Muslim, Jew, Muslim, Christian, like we all come from Adam. Why are there different races of man then? If we all come from Adam, why are there like different races of man? obviously it's because these different races were developing in different environments and their features changed. That's why, the theory of evolution, if I believe in the theory of evolution, but I don't believe in the theory of evolution that a lot of modern atheists and stuff like that. Obviously not all atheists, I don't know, are there like a group of atheists that don't believe in the theory of evolution? If you're an atheist and you don't believe a creator god exists, how can you explain like why we're so sophisticated and developed? If you're an atheist, you would have to like get on board with the theory of evolution, otherwise your entire worldview becomes kind of like insane. I don't know, how do you explain why we're so developed? And if you're an atheist and you don't believe in the theory of evolution, I don't know. But anyway, the theory of evolution, there's so many different views on this. I'm talking about like the Darwinian, the more like what's Darwinism, like there is no God involved and stuff like that in the theory of evolution, that we come from primordial soup, blah blah blah. Anyway, there was no like intervention by some type of divine being. I want to get onto this because abiogenesis is typically if you believe in if you're like a very strict atheist and you believe in the theory of evolution, you don't believe that there was any type of divinity or divine creature that was, or being that was like intervening in our history and stuff like that and kind of helping us out. You believe that and so like life at the beginning, like at the beginning of everything, at the beginning of the planet Earth, like there was like no life, and then life started to just slowly develop itself and we gradually become more sophisticated. What's very tricky for me is that abiogenesis. Again, I want to go back to abiogenesis. What's abiogenesis? Life can just emerge from dead inorganic material and become more sophisticated. This is kind of like not been proven ever and stuff. And the theory of evolution. Obviously, I'm talking about the theory of evolution. There's different theory of evolution can mean a lot of different things. I'm talking about like the Darwinian view of it, though, that we come from like primordial soup and there was no creator god in our history and stuff like that. The theory of evolution is super tricky, man. I'm having problems communicating properly now. It's because my ideas properly, because the topic of the theory of evolution is so complex. But yeah, anyway, but the theory of evolution, the Darwinian theory of evolution, is based on a lot of different assumptions. Number one is that abiogenesis is realistic and possible. That life can just emerge from dead inorganic material. That's like never been proven in all of human history. That life can emerge from dead inorganic material. If you disagree, show me like some type of study that proves that life can emerge from dead inorganic material. It's never been proven in all of human history. It's never been proven in all of human history that life can emerge from dead inorganic material. So the Darwinian view, like what's Darwinism? I'm kind of mixing all these different things up. The theory of evolution, obviously, but the theory of evolution it's so hard for me to explain this because it can mean there's so many different like meanings for the theory of evolution. I'm talking about this type of view on the theory of evolution, right? That there was like no God involved and we come from primordial soup and life emerged from dead inorganic material. That's what I'm getting at. Abiogenesis in all of human history has never been proven, and this type of theory, like this view on the theory of evolution, right, is kind of absurd, right? That we just come from nothing basically, and like we come from primordial soup, life emerged from dead inorganic material. All of this is based on an assumption that can't be proven. Abiogenesis is at the bottom. It's like oh, so cold, man. Abiogenesis is like has never been proven before. The life can emerge from dead inorganic material, right? The theory of evolution, the Darwinian view of it has like a lot of different assumptions that can't be proven, like the abiogenesis again. Life can emerge from dead inorganic material. Because think about it, before all these different fishes and stuff like that, fish creatures, these different like primordial soup things and stuff, before they existed, before life was even a thing. Well, how do life come about if there's no creator god putting things in place? Oh, it's just abiogenesis. Life came from dead inorganic material. That's never been proven in all of human history, that life can emerge from dead inorganic material. And you might disagree, and show me some type of example of it then. Also, I want to talk about now the law of entropy. Because assuming assuming abiogenesis is true, that life just emerged from dead inorganic material, the law of entropy is something that you gotta know about. The law of entropy. What is the law of entropy? Like systems start to decay and degrade over time unless there's some intervention or luck. Think about like how your body grows old and dies. think about how your body grows old and dies. Systems, they decay and they degrade over time. They don't become more developed and sophisticated. I think this is true in most cases, right? Unless there's like some intervention. Think about any type of system, like your body. We grow old and we die. Our body becomes weaker, and all the cells in our body, they start to like get into disarray, and they start to like degrade and become weaker and stuff like that. It's never been proven like that systems become more, I mean, maybe like unless there's some intervention, because the law of entropy is such a, it's so true. The law of entropy and stuff like that. It's so true. I believe that the law of entropy it's kind of at odds with the theory of evolution in so many different ways. I'm talking about the theory of evolution where there's like no there's like a strict, it's like more strictly atheistic and stuff, and Darwinian and stuff. Like there's no room for a creator god or any divinity. This type of theory of evolution, because the theory of evolution can mean a lot of different things. But like assuming like this like more stricter view on the theory of evolution is true, blah blah blah. Like the law of entropy kind of makes this type of theory, this stricter view of the theory of evolution more like kind of more like absurd and insane, because systems they degrade and fall apart over time. They don't become more sophisticated. Like think about at the beginning, like, oh, it's so cold, man. I might need to like wear a jacket next time, because this is just horrible, the wind, man. But systems decay and degrade over time. They don't become more sophisticated unless there's some type of intervention. Obviously, a lot of people would say, well, what are you talking about? What are you getting at? The entropy. Yeah, but entropy is facts. Systems do degrade and kind of fall apart over time. They don't become more sophisticated unless there's some intervention or luck. Again, I'm using the example, like, look at your body. Look, the human being's body, we grow older and we die. That's like entropy. Entropy is so important. It's kind of, the law of entropy is kind of at odds with the theory of evolution. How can like the theory of evolution happen? How can like creatures and organisms just become more sophisticated and advance and not degrade and die out over time? It's so insane. Obviously, I know that there's like this some type of figure, like 99% of all creatures that ever lived are extinct, something like that. I don't know if that's true, or if I'm just pulling things off the top of my head and I'm being stupid. I don't know. But this is so important, right? The theory, so cold, it's so annoying, it's so hard to talk. The wind is so annoying. If you live in England, man, and you have to deal with the wind, you know what I'm talking about. It's like taking a cold bath, and it's like getting into cold water. It's so painful, man. But anyway, the theory of evolution is, and the law of entropy. How can you like reconcile these things? Because we know that, you know, the law of entropy, like entropy kind of, like we know entropy is a thing, right? The human being, our bodies grow old and die. Like the cells in our body start to decay and grow old and die. Everything, like everything in our universe starts to decay and die and become more corrupted over time. That's like the law of entropy. Entropy is a thing. The theory of evolution says that, oh, this is the other way around. Things become more sophisticated and developed over time. They don't decay and become corrupted. This is completely stupid. If you believe in if you're like fully on board with the theory of evolution, explain to me how entropy isn't like, how entropy didn't like kind of, you know, how entropy didn't destroy like the process of evolution. How like entropy didn't like, kind of isn't like at odds with the theory of evolution. Think about it. Systems, like everything in our universe decays and becomes more corrupted over time. Think about it. Your body grows old and dies. Like look at these leaves. Entropy, they're turning older, and they're becoming corrupted, and they're dying and stuff like that. Entropy it's kind of like at odds. It's kind of like it's at odds with the theory of evolution. Entropy, that things just they don't become more sophisticated over time. They become more corrupted and they degrade over time. Entropy, that's so true. Entropy, that's very, because this is like, if you like the theory of evolution is like one of my biggest contentions with like the more standard, like more Darwinian atheistic view of the theory of evolution. No creator god exists, and that abiogenesis happened, that life emerged from dead inorganic material, and then life just started to become more sophisticated and developed for no reason and stuff like that, until we got to the point where we are now. This is all nonsense. The source of abiogenesis, again, life emerging from dead inorganic material, has never been proven, and entropy kind of makes this kind of absurd, because we know like that things degrade and become more corrupted over time. They don't become more sophisticated and developed. This is just absurd, unless of course there's intervention or some type of luck. Think about again how your body grows old and dies. That's why evolution, this view, like very Darwinian strict view of evolution, because I believe in the theory of evolution, but I don't believe in like this Darwinian atheistic view of the theory of evolution, that abiogenesis happened, that life just emerged from dead inorganic material for no reason, and that life just became more sophisticated and developed without any type of intervention. This is absurd, because we know, right, for a fact, right, that things in our universe, they become corrupted and degraded over time. They don't become more sophisticated and developed. Think again about how your body grows old and dies. You don't just, like, your body, like, as you get older, your body becomes weaker and stuff like that. It's not the other way around, that you become more developed. I don't know, you become more healthy or something. I don't know, maybe that's a bad example to use. Maybe like think about like how like entropy is a thing. Like everything in our universe degrades and becomes more corrupted over time. You know, look at like all the explosions, earthquakes, blah blah blah, stuff like this. Entropy, man, entropy. Things become, they become more degraded and corrupted over time. It's like like the law of entropy, something like that. I don't know if that's the very technical definition of this thing. I don't know, of this concept that I'm trying to explain. But entropy and the theory of evolution are kind of at odds with each other. Systems become more developed and sophisticated over time. This is kind of absurd, because entropy, we know like entropy is a thing in our universe, that things they become more corrupted and degraded over time. They don't become more sophisticated and developed. Entropy and the theory of evolution, how do you reconcile these things? A lot of people would say that, oh, you can reconcile it because the systems in play, we become more systems just become more developed and sophisticated. Life would just emerge from dead inorganic material, and that life just started to become more sophisticated and developed. This is kind of just because for, I don't know, maybe you might have like a bunch of different explanations. You might be able to like reconcile entropy and the theory of this type of very Darwinian strict atheistic view of the theory of evolution. I don't know. In my opinion, like entropy and this more strict Darwinian atheistic view of the theory of evolution cannot be reconciled, right? In my opinion, because systems, we know systems become more corrupted and degraded over time, not more sophisticated and developed. Like entropy is a thing in our universe. We know that everything in our universe becomes more degraded and corrupted over time because of the entropy, because of entropy, the law of entropy and stuff like that. So, the theory of evolution says that this more strict Darwinian atheistic view on the theory of evolution says that no, it's the other way around. Things just like abiogenesis is a thing. Life can emerge from dead inorganic material and become more sophisticated and develop for no reason. Okay, but what about entropy? Surely at the beginning when abiogenesis was happening and stuff, and life was starting to emerge and become more sophisticated, why didn't this type of this process just become more corrupted and degraded? Because entropy is a thing in our universe. Everything we see around us degrades and becomes corrupted over time. The human being, our bodies, we turn older and we die. Entropy is a thing. How can you reconcile this more strict atheistic Darwinian view of the theory of evolution and entropy? Like, systems can become more sophisticated and developed. This is stupid, because we know systems become more degraded and corrupted over time. They don't become more sophisticated and developed. Entropy is a thing. Entropy is facts. Entropy is facts. Oh, maybe I'm just kind of being stupid. Maybe a lot of people say, well, you can reconcile the theory of evolution and entropy, and because these systems were in place already and stuff, and things were developing already and blah blah blah. So entropy didn't. I don't know. Entropy is not relevant anyway here. I don't know. Maybe you might have a bunch of stupid excuses. I don't know. Tell me about it in the comment section. I don't know. How can you reconcile entropy like this? Because we know entropy is a thing in our universe. Things become more corrupted and degraded over time. How can you reconcile that and this type of Darwinian atheistic view of the theory of evolution, that things become more sophisticated and developed over time, and abiogenesis is a thing, and life emerged from dead inorganic material, and it became more sophisticated over time, and blah blah blah. I don't know. Tell me about it. I gotta wear a jacket next time, man. I swear I cannot deal. That's the only problem when I'm recording videos outside, is the freaking cold, man. I swear I hate it. I hate the cold, man. It's so annoying. It's so annoying, I swear. It makes it so hard to film videos outside. Next time I'm gonna put a jacket on. I don't care anymore, man. Anyway, the theory of evolution, right? We all come from like lesser creatures that were developing and changing, and natural selection did its magic, and these lesser creatures were forced to become more developed and sophisticated, or they died off. And that's somewhat reasonable. That's somewhat reasonable. I believe in like the this non-atheistic Darwinian view of the theory of evolution, that creatures adapt to their environments over time. That's facts. That's believable. Because again, if you're a Muslim, Christian, or Jew, Christian, Muslim, Jew, like, we all come from Adam, right? If we all come from Adam, why are there different races of man? Obviously, it's because we all developed in different environments. So you see, so this theory of evolution, I agree with, right? That creatures adapt to their environments over time, blah blah blah. But this atheistic Darwinian view of the theory of evolution, that there is no God and abiogenesis is a thing, and life emerged from dead inorganic material, and life just emerged from dead inorganic material, and it became sophisticated and more complex for no reason. Even though entropy. What about entropy? What about entropy? Why? Because we know everything in our universe degrades and becomes corrupted over time, unless there's intervention or some luck. But why? Entropy. How come entropy didn't do its thing? It's so stupid, man. This atheistic Darwinian view of evolution is so stupid. Abiogenesis, life can emerge from dead inorganic material with no supervision, or life can emerge from dead inorganic material without anything initiating that. I don't know, without any type of God touching something or whatever. I don't know. This is kind of stupid, man. Abiogenesis, by the way, has never been proven in all of human history, that life can emerge from dead inorganic material. Again, I'm talking like this atheistic Darwinian view of the theory of evolution is so stupid, that life can emerge from dead inorganic material, right? And then life can just become sophisticated and more developed for no reason. As if you believe no God existed before this thing was happening, like the abiogenesis and stuff like that. It's so absurd. And also entropy kind of makes this even more absurd, because we know things in our universe, they become more degraded and corrupted over time. They don't become more sophisticated and developed. Entropy, man, it is at odds with the theory of evolution. Of course, a lot of people that believe in the theory of evolution and Darwinism and stuff, they would say, well, entropy isn't really a big deal because natural selection and stuff like that. But still, we know, like, for a fact, that things in our universe become more degraded and corrupted over time. Even the sun's gonna die out. Everything's in our universe, maybe, because I know a lot of scientists are talking about this, everything's gonna die out inevitably. So but life can emerge from dead inorganic material and become more sophisticated and developed, blah 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 blah, until we get to the point where we are now. So stupid. So stupid. Entropy would not allow this to happen. Entropy, because we know everything in our universe becomes more degraded and corrupted. Again, our bodies, we grow older and die. So stupid. A lot of people and the theory of evolution, I believe in the theory of evolution, because I believe in it. Again, if you're a Christian, Muslim, Jew, like, we all come from Adam, but why are there different races of man? Obviously, because we were developing in different environments. I believe in this theory of evolution, that creatures adapt to their environments over time. That's facts, right? But this atheistic Darwinian theory of evolution, that no God existed and abiogenesis happened and life can emerge from dead inorganic material and become sophisticated and developed for no reason, this is stupid. And entropy obviously is a thing. How can you reconcile this with entropy? Because we know everything in our universe becomes degraded and corrupted over time, not more sophisticated and developed, unless of course there's some type of intervention. This atheistic Darwinian view of the theory of evolution is so stupid. Abiogenesis, life can emerge from dead inorganic material. Stupid. So stupid. Obviously, again, I believe in the theory of evolution. I just don't believe in this, like, atheistic Darwinian view of the theory of evolution. Abiogenesis, life can emerge from dead inorganic material and become sophisticated and develop for no reason, and without entropy kind of doing its thing and kind of ruining this process is kind of stupid, man. Again, entropy is so important to understand if you want to, like, see, like, the more stupid side of this like the more stupid side of the theory of evolution. Because I think life can, like, especially this atheistic Darwinian view of this, right, that life can emerge from dead inorganic material and become more sophisticated and developed and stuff like that without entropy doing its thing. It's kind of stupid. Very stupid. Damn! My GoPro Hero 9, the battery went too low and it turned off. Anyway, yeah, this atheistic Darwinian, like, kind of, like, understanding of the theory of evolution is stupid. Very, very stupid. By the way, look at this. I got the On the Origin of Species by Charles Darwin. Let's just kind of look through this book, because you can look at the back. Few books have had such a revolutionary It says on the at the back, few books have had such a revolutionary impact on our understanding of life as On the Origin of Species. In it, Charles Darwin introduces his theory of evolution by natural selection, now the cornerstone of modern biology. Very, very, very important work. Look. The Tree of Life. And I don't, you know, I do believe in the theory of evolution. I just do not believe in like this more atheistic Darwinian view of it. I don't know, that there was no God and stuff, and abiogenesis happened and life just emerged from dead inorganic material and became more sophisticated and developed for no reason. That's stupid. But even when you think about entropy, that's so dumb. Look at this. Yep. Revolutionary. That is revolutionary. Preservation. You know, Charles Darwin, I wonder if he did have like a lot of insane beliefs about our race. Because in this book On the Origin of Species, it says preservation of favored races in the struggle for life. Was he a racist? That's something you gotta look into now. And that's about it.